go after a white man. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor.
Maybe he doesn't mean shoot.
The farmer.
Oh.
Is that the Super Bowl?
Attention.
Defend that one.
I think he does mean shoot.
Pull a Biden. I said bullseye, not target. I said slice the throat and kill the boar. I didn't say whatever you thought I said. South Africa's really bad. And for people who don't know what's been going on here, Secretary of State Marco Rubio pulled the U.S. out of the G20, right, in South Africa, citing human rights concerns. Okay, so before we get to that, how much do you know about South Africa? Do you know what's been happening with white farmers there? Do you know that it is, really you're talking about racism and theft from the government predicated on race being codified into law. So for those of you who don't know, we're going to show all those receipts, but here's kind of a general recap.
Disrespectful white man.
If they give the fight, we give them the fight.
Okay. It's a fun little ditty. And by the way, when I say that Africa, South Africa, but most African nations, but certainly South Africa, is a racist government, what I mean is they treat people inhumanely because of their race. I hope I'm clear.
Is that racism?
I argue, that's me, Mr. Old-Fashioned. So Rubio said human rights concerns pulled from G20. Again, the different worldview. Green New Deal, G20, internationalism, that's Obama and Biden. No, we're not going to link arms with nations who violate human rights and go against everything that we stand for in this country. But you have a leg to stand on because you're now promoting merit-based government and business in this country. So this weekend, Donald Trump went one step further. President Trump said he'd be cutting all foreign aid to the country. Posted this on Truth Social. He said, South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people, white, very badly. It is a bad situation that the radical left media doesn't want so much as to mention. They don't want to mention it. A massive human rights violation is happening for all to see. I lost my wind there. The United States won't stand for it. We will act. Also, because of this, I will be cutting off all aid to South Africa until further notice. And an executive order from President Trump also called for the United States to, you've heard that he won't take in refugees, take in and resettle Afrikaner refugees. These are largely the white, I guess, Dutch refugees who are responsible for owning a lot of the farms there in Africa, who are actually fleeing a persecutive government, to be clear. Not a crappy country like Guatemala, a government that has, through law and policy, targeted them because of their race. I want to be crystal clear about that. And this has been going on for a long time. Many of you have been blinded by your white guilt. We'll get to this after. Live Aid, you think Freddie Mercury? Yeah, he belted a couple out while he had AIDS. We funded genocide. Do you understand that? Because our money goes to genocidal maniacs. You're not fixing the problem. We have been an accessory to evil. And here to discuss this, and we will have a disagreement, and we will always welcome someone on to have a disagreement, is Democrat Senator Hirono. Okay, Democrat Senator Mazie Hirono, I really do appreciate you taking time.
Aloha, Mr. Crowder.
So how do the Democrats feel about President Trump ending financial aid for South Africa right now?
Part of my responsibilities as a guest on this show is to ask the following questions.
Actually, I thought I'd ask the question since it's my show, so let me...
Since you become a legal adult, have you ever tried to have sex with a woman with or without consent?
Okay, that's out of left field. I want to ask you more about South Africa.
What kind of woman are you looking for in a sexual partner?
Senator, I hardly think that's...
Do you like your woman to look and smell like a kulua pua?
I'm sorry, what? Hula?
I'm not hearing an answer to my question.
I don't know what you're asking me. We need to stick to the topic as to why you are here.
It's a luau pig. Would it help if I put an apple in my mouth?
Okay, I don't feel comfortable with the direction of this, Senator Hirono.
I'm not hearing an answer to my question.
Okay, Tim, I think we can cut this, actually.
Steven, I'm horny.
Wow.
Yeah, she's quite a pervert.
She's a saucy minx.
Yeah, that's
Track mind.
putting it lightly.
Let's get into what is actually happening, I guess, in South Africa. So you hear about the cutting of the funding. Now, the left, again, the worldview, Department of Education, right? The worldview, the IRS. The left's worldview is more money equals more virtue. The only way that you can argue the United States should continually provide financial aid to Africa, South Africa specifically, in the way that we have been, is if you ignore all of reality and say, yeah, but it doesn't matter because we're giving them more money, therefore that makes us better people. Yeah, hold on a second. More money to the Department of Education, that'll fix it. And if it doesn't, it still makes us better people because we're okay giving your money to this department. There can be no case made that any money coming from the United States is being used for anything other than gross abuses of fundamental human rights. Does everyone here understand that? You guys can comment how much you know about South Africa. So last month, the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa, signed the Expropriation Act, right, of 2024. What does this do? This allows expropriation of land without any compensation. Theft.
Yeah, exactly. Expropriation. We get to steal your land.
We get to steal your land.
Fancy words to say steal.
And they get to do it if it is justified. And what falls under that umbrella? Just and equitable and in the public interest. There's that key word, equitable. And remember, I've always said this, you can have equality or you can guarantee equity. A government that says we are going to steal your land in the name of equity, or a government that says we are going to forbid you, even though qualified, from entering this college because of equity. DEI, equity, guaranteeing equity is guaranteeing outcomes which the only guarantee you get is that you will rob people of deserved opportunity. Equal opportunity or equity, you have to pick one. South Africa, the murderous, racist crap hole that it is, has chosen equity. They have chosen tyranny. So it needs to be equitable, right? It needs to be equitable. That's their justification. Well, let me give you some context here. 3/4 of privately owned land in South Africa owned by white South Africans. They make up about 8% of the population. So they're going to be stealing land from white South African farmers in the name of equity. How do they do that? Gunpoint. You starting to get the picture?
Yeah. And they would claim that, it's racism that allowed this inequity to kind of develop. And it's like, okay, so let's just assume that you are correct there. So your solution is more racism?
Right.
You need to make sure that you have enough racism on top of racism to make sure that the racism is equal.
Well,
that's your solution.
Ramaphosa, the president, his defense of it, it makes it even worse. He said, the recently adopted Expropriation Act, it's hard to say in that voice, is not a confiscation instrument, but a constitutionally mandated legal process that ensures public access to land in an equitable and just manner as guided by the Constitution. So hold on a second.
Wait, what?
It's equitable to take someone's land and not pay them, to kick them off their own land. Largely because of, how do you justify it being equitable? That's right, race.
And by the way, public access, did you say that the public will have access to this land? No, they won't. Somebody else will own the land. The public is not just going to set up a park where a productive field used to sit that grew some kind of crop. And they're like, well, let's just put some benches and maybe a fountain over there so that the public can access this out in the middle of the country where there isn't much public to access the land in the first place.
What, are you going to have a music festival out there? What's going on?
No, they are going to have a famine festival. That's what's going to happen. Just like in China, right? What happened is Mao said, we're going to put, they're now your farms. Turns out people who haven't grown up farming, they're not very good at it.
They don't know how.
And so then there was famine. And then Mao had to blame it on the sparrows. And so everyone started killing the sparrows. And the sparrows actually take out the locusts. And so there was just more famine. So it turns out if you try and force equitability by saying, you're black, take the farm. He's like, I don't know how, I don't own a rake. It doesn't work. Famine is what you will see. Also, you have to ask yourself, if it's racism that created this scenario, okay. Hey, black South Africans, you outnumber them. At any point in time, how is it that such a small subset have been so successful in cultivating these crops. 8% of the population. For some examples, I would point to pretty much every other African nation. They've never gotten it right. Not with AIDS, not with freedom, not with basic human rights, not with government. And we've been giving them so much money for so long. It's not any better. So we also have some policy changes here. For example, we're talking about Donald Trump bringing in Afrikaner, I believe is how it's pronounced.
Afrikaners.
Refugees, because in September 2024, Ramaphosa signed a law giving government authority to dictate language used in schools as well. So this law can be used to force schools to stop teaching in Afrikaans, which is the language that a lot of these white South Africans use. Black-owned businesses, they get different market access, preferential market access, because they are black.
That sounds strangely similar to what they were pushing in the Biden administration.
Also strangely similar, the government renaming any places that were named after Afrikaners. I'm going to stop saying that. Named after any white people.
There you go. White people.
And by the way, these white farmers, for those of you who don't know, because some clips coming here may not make sense, they're referred to as Boers, B-O-E-R-S.
Boer.
Boer. Boer. They're constantly.
No more boer.
They've been attacked, murdered, their land has been destroyed with no protection from the government. So I know some of you are going to say, hasn't this been going on for a while? No, there have been murderous mobs who have faced no consequences from the government, but now it's codified into law where the government will be the murderous, tyrannical mob stealing your land.
And by the way, the guys, you can check me on this, but I think they're not allowed to own firearms as well to be able to protect themselves. I think that was one of the big kind of controversies. That there were, roaming groups of marauders killing white farmers indiscriminately, and they couldn't defend themselves.
An anti-gun law in Africa is funny to me.
It kind of is. It almost, an anti, like machete law may be the only thing that's funnier, but
Well, here's what's not funny. We couldn't even, the CIA couldn't even help undergird or fund a coup. Because in Africa, you have a murderous tyrant like Ramaphosa, and then the primary opposition is a would-be murderous communist. So you either get a fascist racist tyrant, or you get a fascist racist communist. So Julius Malema, he's the leader of the primary opposition party there, the Economic Freedom Fighters Party, a Marxist party. They're not a ruling party, but they're incredibly influential. They have a lot of popular support. And so the alternative to the government policy of seizing land of white people, of erasing any history that involves white people in that country, the alternative to that is this Malema character, who I don't like very much the more I learn about him,
of course not.
who has routinely called for blatant violence against, specifically, white people.
Why not Mashaba? Why not Soli and all of that? Because the mayor of DA in PE is a white man.
So much to tell who invented the
these
beret.
people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They feel a terrible pain because you have touched a white man. Not because Mashaba and Soli will not be touched. They will be touched, don't worry. But we are starting with this whiteness. We are cutting the throat of whiteness.
Now, I know what you're saying. Hey, that was taken out of context. So then here's another clip of Malema chanting. Remember, the Boer are white farmers. Kill the Boer.
Kill the Boer, the farmer. Kill the Boer.
maybe he doesn't mean shoe.
Farmer.
Oh,
Is that the Super Bowl?
Attention.
Defend that one.
I think he does mean shoe.
Pull a Biden. I said bullseye, not target. I said slice the throat and kill the Boer. I didn't say whatever you thought I said.
No, I said kill the poor.
That's right. Wait, that's me.
No.
Now, in his defense, he also, no one is all good or all bad. He also did crucify, personally, Leonardo DiCaprio for the worst South African accent in film ever.
In America it's bling bling, but out here it's bling bang, huh?
He did that. And then, my brew. The whole time in that movie.
Oh, I hated that movie because of him.
So this guy, again, the very influential opposition leader there, he also loves retweeting his own propaganda posts from Jackson Hinkle.
What?
So this is from Jackson Hinkle saying, Julius Malema is one of the most lied about men on earth.
Oh, yeah?
The media hates Malema because he is fighting the banks. Okay, but here's the thing. I don't hate him because he's fighting the banks. Mm-hmm. I dislike him. Hate is a strong word, because he has said, slice the throats of white people and kill the white people. Pra, pra, pra.
Attention. Don't forget. Attention.
Yes.
At the very end.
That's a very paunchy soldier.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's too quick, man. We're trying to bra bra over here.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what their rate of fire is. This is it's not about him. It's not about him fighting banks. Think of the propaganda from the left at this point. And this is the problem. If you are misinformed, and I have not seen them cover this on CNN at all. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen almost any media cover it, which is why I had to brush up on making sure I pronounce the names hopefully properly, because I've only read them. I have not seen it.
You actually got it wrong. It's Malemo.
Ah, I get it. Hey, that's not my name. I'm not lame, you're lame.
It is now.
I am rubber, you are glue.
Oh, boy.
We have no more glue. Shortage. White farmers were good at it. We got rid of them.
So gross.
I sniffed it.
I sniffed it. So if you don't know what has happened in South Africa, you would think, why are we cutting off aid to poor black people? Donald Trump, racist. No, we're no longer going to be assisting and funding arguably, maybe not genocidal yet, but would be genocidal and certainly currently tyrannical regimes predicated on racism. That is what we've decided we are not going to support. Hey, if you're still watching, you can click my face or this box next to me, which may bring you to another video, or it's going to bring you to another video. It'll play another video, but if you like this, it'll be one that you like. And if you didn't like this, you know, everyone deserves a second chance.